Okay. Let me share my screen. But before sharing my screen, I want to introduce myself. I'm Shadi Assi. I'm from Egypt. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration in Mansoura University in Egypt. And now I'm doing my postgraduate studies in Hayek Global College. I'm doing my MBA. And here I am today as a part of my study program where the Hayek Stages offers its students the opportunity to speak out any topic they choose from what they studied, or a topic that is from their choice and they think it's useful for people. I chose inflation because it's something we are all living in today, and we all want our salaries and the money we make since we get up from our beds to go back to the bed. We are making a lot of efforts. We want to have savings. We want to have good life and good families. Whatever our nationalities are, we are all here for one reason, which is to understand what is inflation, what is its causes, and what is the effects, and how to protect ourselves from what's going to happen in the present and the near future. So let me share my screen to start. The title, inflation. Inflation is exploding, and it's real. It's not just a phrase to present. We will here learn how to protect ourselves. And I'm not here just like instructor or a mentor, other than I'm here to help you think with me and participate in the breakout rooms we're gonna have to create solutions in order to mitigate the risks from inflation. So, what is inflation? As we all know, inflation is a rise in prices. Things you could afford yesterday, you can't afford anymore today. And that means it's the decline of purchasing power over time. You could have done too many things with $1,000 you used to earn, for example, yesterday, but today, after inflation, the $1,000 are not enough to get for you your basic needs and the wants, the decisions you want to make in your life. You are not free anymore to take any free decision, travel, have any extra cost or burden over you. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So now we agree that inflation is rise in prices. How? Factors that influence inflation are increasing production costs per unit. When I want to produce a product X, for example, I want to produce a car, I need raw materials. So the raw materials are increasing in prices, and it's hard to attain because we collect these raw materials from different countries. So we have the transportation cost increased, the raw materials itself are getting like less because it's not available for the demand of the people. The current demand is less than is much higher, sorry, than the supply offered. So increasing production costs cause increase in prices, and increase in prices cause inflation. The next is demand. Whenever the demand on a product increase, let's say for buying Mercedes cars, but today there are more people want Mercedes, like 300 people. Mercedes-Benz capacity is producing 150 people, 150 Mercedes-Benz. So there's a deficit of 150 cars that is not available for 150 other people. Okay, so what will happen here? Increase in the prices of the available 150 Mercedes. So just people who have the increased price can buy the expensive, increased, inflated price. This caused the prices to get up. High demand and less supply. They should meet here in order to get the deal done. This take the inflation high, and later, third, fiscal policy. Fiscal policy, from the name, is the financial policy of each country. Just a moment. The financial policy of each country can encourage inflation and can lead to inflation. How? Today, the central bank of each country and the Federal Reserve in USA, if they want to encourage people to take more loans, what will they do? They will they will make the interest rate lower than it was. So they encourage people that taking loans are cheap today. So it made people want to take loans, buy a new car, invest in a better house, start their own businesses, and giving more cash in the economy. It means that the same amount of products are supplied while more cash is here. So people want a lot of stuff, but they can't buy all stuff. Why? Because the production is the same. What we need here to equalize the equation is that we make more supply to catch the demand and to catch the cash of the people. Let's go next, not to run out of time. Yeah, and here comes the scary picture, the COVID-19 effects on inflation, blocking everything, traveling, trade, imports, exports were blocked for almost a year worldwide, and many businesses shut down, and many staff were laid off, were fired from organization because there is no production, there is no salaries to be given. So businesses, most of them like stopped working, postponed transactions, and it was really hard on everyone, which caused inflation because the demand of products and services are much higher than the supply. I want to have a job, but today I don't have. People are working from home. There is no offices. There is no utilities. So more COVID-19 effects. And as you see here, that's a market where like the shoppers are asking products and services, and they are asking more money, but actually there's no more money. There's inflation. People have to choose and decide to buy less. Let's see some statistics about Latin America post-COVID-19 effects. The poverty rate, more poor people in the world because of COVID. The comparison between 2019 here and 2020 increased from 30 to 33.7. In Chile, for example, the household with insufficient income increased from 2019 to 2020 from 17 to 49. More people doesn't have sufficient income to have their essential needs, their food, the shelter, education, health. Next, Colombia share of poor people increased also 35 to 42. And here Brazil is the same. It's 3 to 10%. Okay, let's go next. And let's move to my own country, Egypt, where I can talk much because, yeah, I'm here. Egypt consumer inflation hits 15 today. It's the highest in 4 years. As you see from October 2021, the inflation rate was just 6%. And today it's 15. It's like more than a double inflation rate, and it's still going up. What is inflation? It's the diminishing and losing of the Egyptian pound value, our currency, in relation to the USD, US dollar, where we make the trades, where we import, and where we make our export and transaction done worldwide. The real value of the Egyptian pound got less because no productivity, and there are external factors like COVID, like wars, like wars are in place, causing the economy to have inflation. The inflation rate increased and the food is not available. Okay, there is not enough food supply to the increasing demand. And this caused the prices of the basic needs of oil, rice, and most of the products to increase. Okay, this is the food. And the markets. Of course, these prices, if you are Egyptian here, you will laugh because in Egyptian, this is so cheap. It's like 10 years ago. If you are buying fruits and vegetables today, you will know that it's triple the price you can see. More people, less choices. Consumer products. I'm choosing here some local areas where people are in need for each penny because the purchase power is less and many children and many family and household are dependent to them. Yeah, 10 years ago, I used to buy different fruits and vegetables and meats and whatsoever. Today, I just buy 1 or 2 types or 3 types to have my basic needs. Next. Yeah, from the poor and the poverty to the business world, car showrooms. If you are going out into malls or any car showrooms, you will see that it's completely empty. There is no production of cars. There is increasingly costs. And then the prices increase for new cars. People can't afford. No more new cars. People are buying used cars, as you can see. I bought a car 1 year ago by 100,000 Egyptian pounds. Guess what? It's used. It's 2012. Today, it's 200,000, double in less than 1 year. But the prices of the new car, which was 500,000, it's more than 1 million today. Let's move forward. Gasoline prices also, it's the same, going up. Okay, I finished the first part. Sorry if it was long. I hope it made you understand the implications of the current situation. Do you have any questions? We can have 2 minutes for any questions about what I said.
Okay, Shadi, I want to ask a question.
Yes.
If the Egyptian pound is not connected to US dollar, would it help to be connected to another currency?
Again, I didn't hear this part.
If the Egyptian pound is not connected to the dollar, would it help in the Egyptian inflation rate?
It's unfortunately, it's an impossible wish.
Impossible.
Yeah, impossible wish to not connect the Egyptian pound to the US dollar. You are living in a cycle. Economy is a cycle of countries. I have resources different from yours. And the resources that Egypt has complements the resources that Russia, for example, have. So I import wheat from Russia, but I give natural gas to Europe. And it goes like this. It's the trade-off. So we need to have a common currency in order to keep going. And what controls the value of the local currency is the production, is the gross national product ratio. When you see the household expenditure, the investments of the business, the household expenditure, plus the export minus the import, you have a real gross national product where you can see the value of your economy, hence the value of your currency.
Yes. So from what I understand from you, the inflation rate in Egypt will continue increasing. That's right?
Yeah, it's going now till because we have wars, we have COVID, we have pandemics, and less production. So yeah, it will keep going. Nada? Yes, Nada?
Shadi, thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. I just want to ask you to clarify the relationship between the interest rate and inflation, and if you can provide an example with what's happening in Egypt right now.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. So inflation caused increase in prices because the production cost per unit increased, right? So if you want to buy a pickup to distribute your food products, for example, you are a food distributor company, the car that you used to buy by 200K is today 500K. Okay, so increasing costs pushed the central bank want to take the money in the market. Okay, so it's offering good interest rate, higher interest rate for people to put their money in the bank. So the bank, when it has this money, it can't make more loans. So it encouraged people to give their money with high interest, okay, high return, and it gave loan with also high interest rate, which is more expensive for the clients, for the businesses. But businesses will continually want to have loans from the banks because they can't afford buying in cash the pickups they need to distribute the food products or the machines they need to produce chairs, for example, the medical equipment to make tests in hospitals. All of these are needed to be replaced and renewed every couple or 4 or 5 years, depends on the lifetime value of each product. So business will always need to renew its fixed assets. So this increase in the interest rate made cost on the businesses, but took the cash from the consumers, the individuals. Okay, so when I took loans, I said at the beginning, I am more encouraged to buy a new car. I want to buy a new car. The cost per loan is very cheap. I want to move to a new house. But actually, when we have a lot of cash in the market and the same supply is there, prices will increase definitely. I hope my answer was clear to your question.
Yes, thank you very much. Clarified.
Thank you, thank you. Andre, we can have the last question from Andre and make breakout rooms. Yes?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry I can't enable my camera right now, but I would like to ask about what was was two things. Was the first one was a point. I read it a long time ago, Economy in One Lesson from Henry Hazlitt. And there he talks about a lot of myths in economics. And one of them was about the exportations and importations. And there he said the exportations just exist to pay for the importations.
What I said was a gross national product. When you want to measure how wealthy is a country, you need to find 3 different types of expenditures. First one, the household, me and you and your father, how we spend, the consumers. Okay, this is the first one. The second one, the government expenditures on the public sectors and the health and different industries. Okay. Third is the business expenditures, the investments. Okay. Plus the export, because when your country is producing and you are exporting products or services abroad, you're going to have foreign currencies. And this will lead to increase in your economy, right? In your wealth. So why I said minus import here? Because when you import a finished good, it's a cost on you, right? When you produce a chair, for example, or a car in your home country, and it cost you $100,000 and you sold it by $300,000, you had a profit of 200, right? Thousand. So you put it here as a profit and take the imports, which is a cost on you, to maximize or to make a real equation of the gross national product and the economy power.
Okay. So,
yeah.
And the other thing, it's about, in your opinion, what's the influence of the fact that the currency in all of the world, except for Bitcoin and gold, all of the other currencies is not based on something that have, I don't know the word in English, but it will in something scarce, I think this is the word. The fact that the what?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So I forgot. I know that in 1971, the President Nixon taken away the gold from the dollar. Dollar was based on gold, but this ended in 1971. I would like to know if what you think about this. What you think is the influence of the currency don't have this basis anymore. Anyone in the world, none of them have basis on something that is scarce.
Okay, scarce resources. If you mean scarce resources, before we move on to the breakout room fast, because we are running out of time, it's because the price, the production cost per unit increase. It means we always are in scarce resource. We will never have sufficient resource as much as air. For example, air is priceless, right? It's for free, it's for everyone. There is no scarcity in air. Scarce means rare, but other resources remain with a specific quantity, okay? So that's why we should make a trade-off in each decision. Today, Aurea wants to travel to Egypt, for example, but she doesn't have the necessary cost for her education to continue her education. She has to make a decision. It's called opportunity cost. So Aurea decided to continue her education in order to have a degree, start working, have savings, and then think of what's next. Yeah, I have this amount of savings. Should I invest? Should I travel? Should I buy a house or buy a car? So it's always opportunity cost and scarce resources. It's my pleasure to explain more at the end of the class, but excuse me, we have to go to the breakout room with a question for everybody. So before inflation come, you all had 1,000 US dollars of monthly income, okay? 900 of monthly expenditures. But after inflation, you still earn $1,000, but spend $1,300, having a $300 deficit on your monthly savings, okay? Because of the price increase we said before, now what you used to buy by $900, now you pay $1,300 to have what you had before, okay? Considering your context, and that's what we all are living right now. Do you agree with me?
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, yes. Considering this context, we will now split you all in breakout rooms where you can come up with ideas of how would you deal with such a situation. For 10 minutes, feel free to know each other and come back, each one of the group. You can have a representative to present your ideas in maximum 2 minutes, okay? So here is the problem. We will now make the breakout rooms. Okay, here we are. I saw some groups talking. I couldn't catch some because of the few times. So now can each one of each group, we start with team one. Who was in team one? Let's see. Amr Abdelaziz, Dasha, Ejid, and Shadi Assi. Okay. So one of you guys.
And you joined late. Shadi.
Yeah, I'm assigned to breakout room one. I was going last, so
Yeah.
but I can't present now. I have to hear first. So yeah, one of you can go on.
Yeah, gentleman gave me an honor to present, so I will be the one telling our ideas. So what do we have? There are 4 options for what we would go. We would be getting second job and give up some social life for some time, because 2 jobs, it's quite time consuming. We would be looking for
can you
ways.
mute? Yeah, thank you.
We would be looking, it's in other ways, in other words, we would be looking for ways how to increase our monthly income and decrease expenses. Another way we would also go is review basic expenses and see how we can optimize it. because even basic ones can be optimized. We sometimes consider them super important for us, and then when the hard times comes, we see that we actually can do without something pretty much easy. And the creative way for us would be moving to a cheaper country while having the same income. Where like moving will help us to sustain the same level of life somehow that we have, but actually spend less. Thank you.
Amazing ideas. Really good. I know people here already in the breakout rooms who do work from home, and you work for foreign companies in countries that has the Great Britain USD as official currency. Yeah, if you move to other countries like Egypt, like other countries who have high inflation, you're gonna live much better life and have high standard of living. Thank you, Dasha and the group. Very good. Thank you. Okay, team 2.
Yes.
Team 2 is Asi, Ivomir, Asi, Hala, Muhammad Habib.
Yes.
You have 2 minutes.
Okay. First of all, number one, if we can, I'm talking about here in Egypt. If anyone has an opportunity to join another company with a higher salary, go ahead. If anyone got an opportunity to travel out of Egypt to another country, it's okay. Number two, we have to decrease our expenses. I mean, we have to, when we are buying something, we have to look for discount offers to save, especially in the main items like rice, oil, chicken, meats, and so on. Number three, we have to look to the best way to invest our money. I don't know if it's okay to buy the bank's certificates to save in the bank, or this is a question we need to know from you also. Or to buy gold. Most of people now are going to, they are rushing to buy gold. And some are they already bought a lot of dollars to keep it so they can buy it for higher price later. That's okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Something else also we can do if we, as I said about transportation, we had an idea before. I did it with some of my colleagues living in October and Zaid. I was working in a company in Nasr City. So we make an agreement to join all of us in one car every day or every week.
So carpooling? Yeah.
Carpooling, yes. Yes. Also, we talked about this is the things we can do by ourselves. The government is they have to make a close control on the marketing and the pricing. There is increasing in the prices without any rationale. Everyone can increase in his items in his place without any problem. Let's take egg for an example. The 30 eggs equal before 50 pounds, 55 pounds, then 60, 65, 70. Where they reached 90 pounds.
Right. There's no good control from the government. We need that. Sure. So I wrote down some of the tips Team 2 wrote. I'm going to share it with you. Yeah.
Huh?
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Anyone from Team 2 want to add something? So I think your mic is being muted.
Basis.
Sorry.
We need
Okay, I think Hala wants to say something. Can you go, Hala?
Yes, so I think we will have to prioritize what we need and what is actually considered as a luxury.
Yes.
So what we before thought of as something that we can afford, now I think that we'll just put it in the list of the luxury stuff. We'll have to change our choices when it comes to the basic products, such as the rice, the simple products. We can change into the more cheaper stuff, so we can try and not feel the huge gap or difference after the inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. Excellent. Hala.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you, Hala. I'm going to add your input. Hi, Mustafa. How are you? Happy to have you here. I know you came late. I think you didn't have time to join a breakout room.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this.
No, it's fine. Welcome. And I would like to have your ideas also, but at the end, when we finish the team 3, okay, and team 4, we can hear from Mustafa some ideas, okay? So team 3, let's see who's here. Oria, Mu'taz, Oria Brazil, Mu'taz Bulgaria, Nada from Dubai currently, as far as I know. So that's a good group, very diverse.
In summary, what we've discussed.
Feel free to open the camera, anyone in the chat.
It was about the costs. We have to cut the costs that are unnecessary. First thing to do, cut the unnecessary things. And second place, we can also talk with the company, because the salary used to follow the inflation as well. So if the salary is still the same, we should speak with the company as well. And that's it.
Very good. Okay. That's team 3 input. Okay. Anything else, team 3? No? We go to team 4. Thank you, Oria. Thank you, team 3. Room 4 is Arthur from Brazil, Jan from Poland, Matthew from Mexico or Mexico. Yeah, the right pronunciation. You can go. Anyone from team?
Well, we really didn't appoint anybody, so, well, we had an interesting discussion. It's basically what was said a little while ago regarding cutting expenses or reducing maybe even the quality of the things you buy on one hand, and on the other hand is trying to increase your income. Today with online jobs, it's easier than in the past to find something online, as mentioned. Maybe you have your main job and something extra. And I was telling them that an important tip that my grandfather told me many years ago was never have only one source of income. You have to have more than one, not only because of inflation. Inflation comes and goes, but it's always better to have several sources of income and not depend on one. And something else we said, that circumstances of each person and each family is different. In my case, my children are already married. They don't live with me. They don't depend on me at all. They have their own children, and it's just my wife and myself. So my situation is very different from theirs. So you can't really generalize and say this is the rule for everybody. You have to adapt it to each one of the circumstances that everybody's living.
Very good. Thank you. I think you said almost everything. Very good work. And let's go for, thank you, Professor. We go for team 5. Abdesalam and Lucas from Brazil. Abdesalam from Mansoura, Egypt. You want to know who's Abdesalam? The big surprise. He's a professor of economics, head of economy and inflation in Delta University. And luckily, he's my father. and he's my role model in life. I would like to make a special and warm welcome for him because he is here with me today, supporting me.
And he is my friend too.
Yes.
Welcome,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Absalam.
Yeah. But let's go. Lucas, can you hear us? Abdus Salam or Baba? Respect.
Well, I think some basic ideas that you guys have already said. Just the basics, like a second job and extra money incoming, and review your products that you usually buy. And like the Aria said, cut the unnecessary. Well, it's you look like, oh, it's kind of basic stuff, but yeah, it's in certain scenario, it's hard to put that in practice, but I would that's the idea that I put in practice in this scenario.
Okay, thank you so much, Lucas. That's team 5. Let's go. It's breakout rooms done, and now we have Labib and Adham. Okay, so you can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I have like a certain, like, I think everybody said everything about what should we and what should we not do during the times of inflation. But there is something that is actually, like, at any period, there is an opportunity. So at the times of inflation, there's one opportunity that most people don't focus on, that the price of everything increased, but it doesn't increase on spot. It increases gradually, especially in our case in Egypt right now, when there is devaluation of the Egyptian pound against the US dollar. The prices of everything increased suddenly because everybody knows that the dollar price has increased. But there are certain things that will not increase on spot, like real estate, like even small things like products for computers, things that can be small. Actually, you can seek the opportunity to purchase these items with your, like, with a credit, not with a capital, with a credit, and then pay for it after. So you will not really lose much. That's what I'm like, because anyways, there is devaluation. So anyway, the interest rate is gonna be much less than the real value. That's the whole thing I was trying to but it's not applicable for everything for sure. But this can be a very good opportunity, because I personally been through this in 2016 and 17, and it was a great deal. So if you find anything now that was not increased in price, it's like it's the price increase is not completely accomplished, or it's not finalized, the price, it didn't increase yet. At this times during the inflation, you can seek an opportunity to buy things by credit and pay for it after the price increase. So that's what I'm trying to elaborate. That's it.
This seems like the future market, the options.
Very good example. Okay, so thank you for the inputs, and now here comes my part. What are my suggestions? Let's go, because time is over. It was really good conversation. let's go fast and see what we have here. I will share my screen for the last time. I want to ask like 10 minutes from your time extra, if you don't mind, in order to finish what we have. If you have something to do, feel free to stop anytime.
No, go ahead, Shadi.
Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you, Prof. Matthew.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Matthew.
Okay, so here's the last. Why invest in these options? Okay. Just a moment. Okay. Suggestions to protect yourself from inflation. They say, and I agree with them, I don't know who said, but I like it, that the best defense is a good offense. You can't keep defending what's happening all around the world from crisis and not take a good offense of such great ideas you all mentioned. That's why we will see here what we can invest in if we have an amount of savings not to lose. Okay, first of all, I will answer Muhammad Habib question about if it's a good idea to invest your money by saving in a bank account with high interest rate. I wouldn't recommend, because the inflation rate is much higher than the interest rate. So the money will put like 1,000 Egyptian pounds, you will have it in 3 years 1,700. The 1,000 after 3 years would be worth nothing, like would be worth less than the return. Okay, so you could have used this money to invest on one of these examples I will mention. First, a commodity. Commodity is things and products that enters as raw materials in production, like wheat, like grains, like wood, like ceramic. You use these things to have work in process and finalize goods, okay, to produce products. Second, real estate. If you have lots of savings and you can afford real estate, is the best, one of the best options. Gold and precious metals, okay. And I want here to talk about these three things. Let's talk about real estate. Real estate is very hard. It's hard to have liquidity from real estate. Yes, it's good to buy real estate, but it will take time to resell it. Okay, so it has low liquidity, low risk, because it won't lose its value, and have a high return. Okay, for gold, it has very high liquidity. You can sell gold at any time, any day, and have low risk. There is low risk from reselling gold, and a high return. And for commodity, it's very liquid, high liquidity, low risk, high return, because as we said, the supply in inflation decrease. If you have commodity, your commodity and inputs to be used in production would be needed. So if you announce on, let's say, Facebook or in any market that you have X amount of raw materials, you will find a lot of investors who wants to buy from you by any price. Then you can offer your price a double or whatever equivalent at this specific amount of time, and you won here. Your money didn't lose. Gold is the same, real estate is the same. What's different is the liquidity, okay? And we have to take a close look at our budget. There are some expenditures and spendings we do are called miscellaneous expenses. These expenses are like things which are not necessary, as you all said, in our daily life. How many of us know many people go buy Starbucks like every day or maybe 3 days a week, or an expensive coffee, that cost you 50 Egyptian pound, for example. Let's make a rough calculation here. 50 pounds multiply 30 days, it's 1,500 Egyptian pound of your monthly salary. Multiply 12, it's 18,000 Egyptian pound per year. This is accounting stuff I'd like to talk about. Instead of buying Starbucks or relying on expensive products, which is secondary, it's not necessary, you can, let's say, buy your jar of Nescafe, for example. It's not necessary stuff you do daily, but you can cut down costs in these things what you think it's not major. You can buy your own pack, make your own coffee, which will cost you 5 only, not 50, okay? So this is an example. Other costs like taking your car every day to work is not a good decision. If your work is far, you will have a high cost, high prices of oil. You're gonna put a lot of oil, high depreciation for your car. So you can use carpooling, as Team 3 said, Muhammad, Habib, and Hala, to see who live nearby and go to your work, so you can share the expenses. And for the food products, you can choose what is needed, not extra in these kind of prices. In order to maintain your purchase power, inflation attacks purchase power. As COVID attacks lungs and health, inflation does the same. Yeah, let me do it this in this kind of comparison. So you have to take care and take the right amount of precautions, okay? We have not to be very comfortable having cash, like spending cash. We have to be careful in what we invest. If we have surplus of money, we invest in these commodities, real estate, gold, and precious metals. And if we don't, and we have to live and have to survive, we have to stop spending on unnecessary stuff, and we have to look for other jobs, as you all said. If I work, for example, in leasing in the bank, I finance companies to purchase vehicles, equipment, machines, and production lines, etc. So I have good knowledge about this. What if after my job, I make like 3 hours freelancing consultancy for people who want to have finance from banks in the sector? It would add more money to my income. It would make me feel less effect of the inflation. Each one of you can do the same. You see what you're good at. If you're still studying, you can learn something, apply it. You will learn from your own mistakes, okay? Risk, take the risk, travel. If you don't have something in hand or in your home country or in your city, never hesitate to travel. You will learn a lot of lessons. You will have many failures, but you're gonna stand out, you're gonna learn, you're gonna do something with that. Okay, the last thing is reassess your emergency fund. It's very important to have emergency fund for such situations of layoff. If you lose your job, if you have inflation, you have a source of income aside, okay? So you have to consider having an emergency fund and take off unnecessary spendings. And yeah, I think time is over. If you have any questions, I'll be so happy to answer you.
Shadi, let's to summarize what you said. Let's say investing in real estate is a long-term plan. Investing in gold is a short-term plan, right?
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Let's talk. I want to ask you a question regarding the government, selling the bank deposits for high benefits will solve our problem in Egypt. Will it help the government to overcome the problem of inflation?
Let me explain this point fast. The government encourage people to put their money in the banks let's assume why. Because if the bank or the Central Bank of Egypt or Federal Reserve thought about printing money, I'm the bank, I don't have cash now. What if I don't take money from people? The other option is printing money. And printing money while having the same level of production, it means that there is the same supply, right? But now Muhammad Habib have a lot of cash, more than he had, okay? So it means Muhammad will demand more products while the supply is the same. This equation or diagram of demand high, supply less will cause inflation, and the value of the products will increase, and this will cause inflation. So in order not to print money and cause inflation, governments are taking money from people who doesn't have ideas of investments and giving to others businesses who will use this money to produce, to make exports, and to run the economy cycle.
So the solution is to make production inside Egypt, to minimize the importation, to increase the exportation.
Yeah, it depends. Like, it needs a lot of work from authorities, from governments. It has to be taught in schools. Like, this mentality and this mindset won't come if there are no, let's say, the subsidies or allowances for that kind of behavior. Other countries, like let's say US, China, for example, they have the system of reward, like they support productivity, they give permissions, and this is the direction of a whole country. So that's why China is there, and there are like differences between countries because it all depends on production, exports, imports, this equation, and the expenditures of the government, business, and household. Okay, I hope I answered your question, Andre.
We have to close, Shadi. I think we are very past the time here.
Okay, let me end. I'm happy. So happy to have this experience with you today. I hope you learned something with me today.
We need to repeat it again and again.
Let's do it again for sure.
Yes.
But last but not least, I want to thank this opportunity from Hayek Global College. As I mentioned in the beginning, I study MBA from a Brazilian university. I'm here in Cairo, 18,000 kilometers far. Hayek headquarters are in Brasilia, the capital, but it's international organization. Here we have plus 20 different nationalities. And every semester we in Hayek accept students. If you like or are interested to know more about admissions, feel free to approach me or approach the website or the social media accounts. I would love to help you and assist you. And that's it. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Shadi. Can we have a screenshot for everybody just to close the meeting?
Thank you, Nada. Yeah, I have last how to say request. If you don't mind, we can take a screenshot. If you can open your camera for a moment, let's take a screenshot where we are.
Yeah, nice to see people there.
Yeah, Amr.
Smile, everyone. Right. Oh, one more person there. Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure having you again.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Shadi. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Congrats, Shadi.
Thank you, Aurea.
See you. Bye.
Bye, Mustafa. Thank you, Mohammed.
Yeah, Mustafa.
There's something.
Thank you, Shadi. Thank you, Shadi.
Thank you, Lucas. I'm so happy to meet you.
Difference.
Forward to meet soon. Andre, thank you for the time.
I'm so happy.
Adham. Yes, Andre?
Thank you
was
for
thinking
this presentation. It was very
and
good.
in Brazil, we had a story of 80% inflation per month in the 80s, where the inflation got beat 80% per month, and
Whoa.
this the great